Recording in progress.
ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। So in the last class we were studying that one of the most significant verse of the Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So that the Lord is ensuring us that we are so much baffled by our worldly responsibilities, commitments. But here the Lord is ensuring that we say that how is it possible to take the name of the Lord? My entire time is expended just in taking care of the day-to-day needs of my family commitments. So here the Lord is saying, is giving us an assurance. It doesn't mean that we have to be idle, but somehow do your best. And if you have that full faith in the Lord, that the Lord is there to take care of me, know it for certain. In His own ways, even something which is beyond our imagination, we will find the so-called crisis in life which we were thinking is awaiting me, we find it has been solved in a wonderful way. So that faith, full faith in the Lord, Ananyas Chinta, Ananya, that stopping your mind from all other worries and tensions, the distractions. So even in our day-to-day life, the worries actually are fruitless. It has no purpose. If you go on worrying, what will happen, it's just mere wastage of time. It's not going to change the course of our life. So I still remember when I was in India in the school. So in the board there was the thought of the day. One board used to be there, and the students were supposed to write some quotations there. They were supposed to just choose whatever quotations they find is something which has importance in our day-to-day life. So they were supposed to choose it and write it. So one day I found a very nice such quotation, still I remember, that worries are like a rocking chair. You do something, you go nowhere. So that's the worries. Just in the same place you're rocking. So in our life, the worries actually have no as such utility. When there is a crisis, to have some planned thought, that's a different thing. But just what will happen? We'll find that unnecessarily we are just worrying. So here the Lord is saying that if you do your best and leave the rest for me, be assured I am there to take care of your what? Yoga Kshema. So here the word yoga is not used in the spiritual sense. It has been used in what sense? The word yoga means union. That when I'm aspiring for something, that thing is not yet with me. That is aprapta. It is I'm yet to attend. This is apraptasya prapti. So when I get that, I get unified with the object of my desire. So in that sense, the word yoga has been used here. That what I am yet to attend. So when I attend, then there's a union between me and the object of my desire. So this apraptasya prapti is when used in this verse as the meaning of the word yoga. And then what? Kshema. Kshema means preserving it. What I gain, now again I will find throughout all life, these are the two things. Till I get something, I am worried. Will I get it? Whether it is job, whether it is our relations, whether it's wealth, whether it is position in life, everything that is extra, something external to me. It is not something which is intrinsic. It is something which I have to acquire. Till I get them, that fear is there. That's constant, that worry is there. Will I get it? And again when I get it, again that worry is there. Can I preserve it? Again the same thing, whether it's your job, whether it's your relations, whether it's a position in life, your wealth, can I retain it? So this constant worry, you will find our 90% of the life is actually engaged with this worry, yoga kshema. So Lord is assuring that if you can have this full dependence on me, oh Lord, I have nothing else to depend upon, I just depend on you. And then be rest assured that Lord is there to take care of all your so-called this yoga and kshema, all the things you want and all the things that needs to be preserved for the sustenance of your life. So that Lord is saying, I will, that the word in the last class also we were saying, instead of saying dadamyaham, dadamyaham means I give, and vahamyaham means I carry. So he's assuring that I carry it for you. The Lord is saying, just the way the father is all carrying the responsibilities of the small child who is yet to develop his, what you see, the capacity for his own sustenance. He has yet to develop his life skills. He is totally dependent on his parent, and the parent carries all his needs and wants. His parents do that. It is the Lord who has given that, what you say, this unconditional love in the heart of the parents. What to speak of parents? Even when I see someone in need and the sympathy comes from the heart, my ego immediately comes and says, oh, I am such a nice person, such a kind person. See, I feel sympathy. We forget that sympathy is something which is already inbuilt in our heart. As in the last class we were saying that in Bhagavad Gita, in the 3rd chapter, that sloka, this wonderful sloka, that verse is there. Sahayagya praja srishtva. That when I created this creation, I created along with yagya. And most of us translate that yagya as the fire sacrifice. So here the word yagya is not the fire sacrifice. It has been used in a much more encompassing manner. Yagya means interdependence, give and take. This world, nothing is such segregated. The existence of anything has to be interdependent. So Lord has created this world along with the sense of, with yagya. So it's a wonderful thing. You know, with the Darwin's theory, will you believe that Darwin's theory is responsible for the Second World War? Wrong interpretation, of course. The wrong interpretation. The Darwin's theory that struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. This was this Nietzsche, the famous philosopher. He interpreted in this way, that you just see everywhere, what you will see, that it's all are not equal. Variation is there. Some are stronger, some are weaker, and it is the stronger who at last will survive. The others will be naturally annihilated. And from that, Nietzsche propounded a very heinous thing. What's that? And this thing can be accelerated. This evolution can be accelerated if we ourselves can the ones who have been rejected by this, those who are not that strong, we helping annihilating them and get that, what you say, that pure rest, the Aryans. So now you will understand from where Hitler got the idea. Hitler was highly influenced. The white supremacists. All the same thing. The same idea. That's when Swami Vivekananda was in the West. Constantly has to hear that there is a lot of casteism in India. And Swamiji said, you are more, the idea of caste is more strong with you. The way you believe just my color is white and I become supreme. What more casteism can be greater than that? That's why there's white supremacists. So this, I'm just why we are saying this, that from this idea, and from that you will find there's this annihilation. What a tremendous, this Holocaust, this annihilation was done. Would you believe in those days, Swamiji in one of his lecture, he's saying a wonderful thing. Nietzsche gave the example, wonderful example. What's the example? That you see that who are the best among the human race? The Greeks. You just go to the history to have a faith in the theory of Darwin. Just see in the human race, the Greeks, the Romans, with the power, they excelled. They were in the top of the civilization. You know, Swami Vivekananda in those days was reading all the literature very thoroughly. If you just see in his Chicago lecture, not in the first lecture, just as he was giving a series of lectures, in all the lecture he's mentioning that competition can never be the, ultimate criteria of evolution. And then the same thing, what Nietzsche is saying, he's giving the example of the Roman, the Greeks, and Swamiji is saying, just see, where the Romans have their civilization, this vast civilization, they're all ruins now. The spiders are just, there's weaving the cobwebs there. It has all been gone, ruined. And then what he's saying, whom this entire humankind remembers? Jesus, who led his life for the sacrificed his life for the welfare of all. Whom you remember? Do you remember a single tyrant king? No, I don't remember. The world reveres the Buddha, the Jesus. That's what Swamiji is saying. Not only that, very interesting. Swamiji in those days says the way the Darwin's theory has been interpreted is wrong. He says it gives an impression that the one who is so-called is a bit evolved, he has survived because he has somehow had that special variant which enabled him to survive. The others has been annihilated. Swamiji says no. The idea of competition gives a wrong notion of evolution. The real idea of evolution lies in cooperation. The yajna, cooperation. How? In those days, Swamiji is giving a very nice, simple example. He's not going to the intricacies of the scientific terms and all. Very simple example. He's saying that suppose in a theater which is full, packed theater, and then some show is going on, and suddenly there is an announcement. That in one corner of the theater it has caught fire. You please evacuate. Immediately the show will be stopped, evacuate, and immediately there was a chaos. All started who was just running, jostling, that who will come out first, and there was a stampede, and because of then the fire spread, and there was a huge casualty. A few, of course, could come out, and now would you say these few who came out are the evolved ones? They were most probably near the exit. Some circumstances helped them. They came out. They were not the strongest one. And now Swamiji is saying, if after that announcement, if all would have decided, in the plane you will find that the instruction is there, that follow the line, get up, if there is anything. So that's the same thing. If all would have followed that instruction, that let's get up, make a queue, come out. Let us cooperate with each other. Let us not think who will come out first. Don't you think most would have saved? So it's cooperation that helps us to fight in a better way. This is the example Swamiji is giving. Now, wonderful thing, now you will find in this theory of evolution, Darwin's theory of evolution, what they are saying, that those who cooperate, those species who have cooperated among themselves, they survived. Means there was a competition, among whom, it's very interesting that nowadays they are saying that the Neanderthals were more intelligent than the humans. They developed these tools and other things that was much sophisticated than ours. Then what happened? Suddenly that these communication skills developed, a part of the brain for the humans. We were again and again, we've tried to fight the Neanderthals. We were pushed back. The humans were pushed back. And when the communication skills developed, they started coalescing. With the language, you start coalescing. And then that became a force. That became a tremendous force. With that, then the Neanderthals were extinct. So everywhere you will find that wherever somehow the cooperation happened, that's the basic principle of life. Then they excel. So that in the modern psychology, in the modern biology, they're using the term synergy. That's the word synergy. They say these redwood trees, their roots never go deep, but they are highly resilient to weather and all this. When there is a storm, they won't fall. Wow! That even when a small sapling comes out in a redwood forest, all the other trees, they will extend their root and intertwine. All the roots will be intertwined to form a very strong base, and that makes them resilient. So Sahayagya. So that's the plan of life. Lord has implanted that in our heart, through which He is taking care of His creation. So this is the wonderful idea which we find in Bhagavad Gita. It's not competition, it's cooperation. The more we cooperate, the more we take part in the yajna, the more we excel in life. So all this sympathy, love, everything, that's there in our heart. But why don't we feel it? Very interesting. The Buddhists don't believe in God, but they believe in sympathy. Very interesting thing. That why do they believe in sympathy? They say that actually that the law, they believe in dharma. That's per the law of the universe, that the kindness is something which is inbuilt. So there was a book called Selfish Genes, and the Buddhists have started saying, no, our genes are altruistic, the altruistic genes. Also that love, compassion is in your heart. The noise of our mind, when we are very much competitive, all the noise we create, that makes us very selfish. That hides that sympathy. It is already there. All this, our sense of this artificial civilization, where we find that lot of tension, worries, and then that makes us more and more selfish. That kindness gets somehow covered up. It's there. It gets covered up. Very interesting that the plan of the universe, you will find, is such that the mother will love the children. It's not only in humans, in every creation. But in the modern days, you will find it's only possible in humans. In other creatures, you will never heard that the mother is harming the child. But you will find extreme selfishness because of this artificial civilization. There are so many cases coming out where the mother is harming the child. It happens only with the humans. We really create such a noise in our mind that the heart, which has already that compassion, that gets totally covered up. So if you keep the mind clean, that's why that in Buddhism, that's one say they don't believe in God, but what they believe? When your mind is very calm, if you can calm down your mind through mindfulness and meditation, then you don't have to culture this compassion. There is no need to culture. It is already there. So they speak of this loving kindness. That loving kindness, from where it comes, that is already there. That is already there. We just have to calm down our mind. So this Anannas Chintayantam, what we are saying, that's this idea there, that the plan of the universe is such where that compassion, kindness is there. Lord's compassion finds expression through love, sympathy, this cooperation. If we don't get too much engaged in this heedless competition, we will find that the life is much more simple, and there you can find that this manifestation of this love, cooperation, where the quality of life naturally improves. This our yoga kshema is taken care of. Just see how artificial our civilization is. Because of this competition, we have the idea of this is my land, this is my property, and then when I for some reason my wealth is not there is no one to help me, because everyone is having their own cocoon, have built their own cocoon of their wealth, of their land. Even when I was in Fiji for 1 year, the original now of course they are changing. The Fijians, the tribes, this original Fijian tribes, I found they have no idea of my land, your land. In this, they have their own, built their own house, and there is no such boundary that this is my land, this is your land. It's just in the common land. Everyone has their own space. They have built the house, and a wonderful thing. It was that it's all changing. It was in their culture that if anyone is in need, the entire community should help him. It was like a law. The entire community should help him. And that's how we will find they were thriving quite well. Even you will find that these old civilizations, they were here, like we say Aborigines were for 60,000 years. We also say, sir, here I still remember I went to a devotee's house and they told Maharaj, speak. I said, instead of giving a lecture, why not we have some interaction? And then some young boy, he is in the 12th standard, he was, of course they are very, full of energy. He started questioning a lot of things, and then suddenly he told, but after all, these Aborigines are uncivilized. The Western civilization has given us this so-called education, culture. And then I told, what's the criteria of civilization? What's the criteria of civilization? And he was quiet. I say, would you accept one thing? The criteria of civilization I can define in that way. That which helps us to sustain, thrive. Would you say that is a culture? Now these Aborigines you are saying that are not civilized. Okay. And very interesting. His father is a Ramakrishna Mission student. That how in one generation everything changes. He's saying that. And then I say, they were there for 60,000 years. And now with your so-called civilization, in 200 years, you are now speaking of annihilation. Global warming, nuclear war, just 200 years. In 200 years, you don't know you are going to exist for another 100 years or not, you don't know. And now you say that they have no civilization. That the basic thing, that Sahayagya, this idea of this cooperation was there in all of them. We with this artificial civilization have totally lost it. So now you will find this idea that when Bhagavan is saying, he's saying something which is a basic fact of life. We, because of this artificial civilization which we have created, it has totally blinded us. We don't believe in it. We think, is it possible that really someone is going to take care of my yoga and kshema? We don't believe. But that's a very basic fact of life. As we were saying even in the last class, which other creature other than human really thinks of sustenance? Do the bird think I have to have a bank balance for my existence? Any other creature? No. We have created such a civilization where this basic thing, that's yoga kshema, for which the Lord is saying, Vahamyam, he's caring for the entire creation. We have somehow lost sight of it. So it's a very, that's why the word Maya is very important. What's Maya? Maya. Ya means yatha yatha. To see the thing as it is. And Ma is a negation. So we think what I am seeing, I am a very intelligent person, what I am seeing, that's the fact of life. The scripture is saying, no, it's Maya. You are not seeing it as it is. You are negating that. So that's the idea. So this is the thing which we were studying in the last class. So now, having described the position of those who worship the Supreme Lord, so now Sri Krishna will explain the situation of those who worship the lower gods, of whom which we were speaking. That I want this. Nowadays, of course, we don't go for rituals. But I know that for such and such job, I have to study this and such course. To get this such and such position, even in-job trainings are there, skill. So all those things are there. There's so many varied courses are there. So this we can relate with these verses. What they're saying? Yepya, the 23rd verse of the 9th chapter. Ye api anya devata bhakta yajante sraddhayanvita te api mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. That whatever pursuit you have, whether through rituals, I want to propitiate some god for getting all the so-called worldly favors in my life. So when I am diseased, you will find even in the present society, still it is there. That you will find in the temples there is a huge crowd. Why that crowd? It's all you will find that's the basic idea, that such and such worship is meant to ward off such and such evil. Or I pray for health, I pray for wealth, and all these things. So for this we go to a particular deity. The such and such deity is the deity for the wealth, for learning. So here it has been indicated in Bhagavad Gita, these are the lower gods. Very interesting. Someone may say that my God is the only God, all other are the lower gods. But actually, the way you are worshipping, that speaks of the same God. The same God can become the lower God. The same God can become the lower God if you are going and asking for all the small things. If you are going for this liberation, the same God. Like, where this is Ganesha. So Ganesha, if I'm only just going for the worldly desires, then for me that Ganesha becomes a lower God, because I'm just going for all these worldly desires. If I am going for liberation, then yes, he is the same as the ultimate reality. So we have to take this idea of lower gods that way, what we are asking for. When we are asking for all the small things, then the same God, we have just nomenclatured him as such and such, but actually we are relating to a lower God. Even Krishna can be a lower God if I am just praying for all the worldly things. So, ye api anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanita. So here, Bhagavad Gita is not censoring them, that they have shraddha with full faith. Even nowadays, even those we are going for all this various academic study, you'll find there's a particular course which will take me to some profession, isn't it? I will get established in particular profession by following academics. So that also is like worship. In our scriptures they say this chhatranam adhyanam tapa. For a student, even study is the tapasya. So here you are doing the tapas. You are doing that austerity to get something. So here what the Lord is saying, that te api mame, actually they are worshipping me and me alone through this various means. Ye api mameva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. That they are worshipping me by the wrong method. Why the wrong method? So this is something which is interesting in the Bhagavad Gita. So they are endowed with faith. They are worshipping something. Why this wrong method? But after all that, why I want a good job? Why I want wealth? Why I want to be free from disease? Why? At last there is only a common goal, one goal in life, only one goal. That in Sankhya, very nicely it has been mentioned, Atyantika dukkha nivritti. And the bhaktas will add parama sukha prapti, to get rid of all suffering and to attain some supreme bliss. Isn't it the common goal for all of us? Whatever we are doing. So why they say it's a wrong method? Yes, with all your endeavors, you will get it. What you have to get, you will get it. But after all, that I want to be wealthy, for what? So I want to enjoy life. I want to be happy. So why it is wrong method? Then the question comes, after attaining that, are you happy? With all the wealth which I thought will make me happy, has it really made me happy? With all the positions in life, the jobs and everything which I aspired for, I got. I will find it has become an advertisement. I have a big building, I have all the amenities, nice cars standing outside. Others think I am very happy. The big question is, am I happy? That's the big question. Am I happy? So here, that's why Bhagavan is saying that it is a wrong way. They're worshipping me. Because ultimately, it is I who am finding manifestation as all these devatas, all these aspirations which you are going for. It is me and me alone. Let us give an example. Just say this, the soil. The soil has all sorts of minerals, isn't it? All sorts of minerals. Now, if you plant just say banana plant you are planting, what will happen? That from all this infinite resource, in the form of all minerals, water, minerals in the soil. The soil, this banana plantain has a particular way of assimilating only a part of that nutrient, isn't it? And to become the banana plant. A mango plant will take a part of the nutrient to become a mango plant. So this Prakriti is like the soil. Prakriti is like the soil. And each of these devatas are like this one or other seeds. Whatever I want, I plant the same Prakriti. But who is the Adhishtatri of the Prakriti after all? Is the Lord. The Lord, he actually activates the Prakriti. Without the Lord, the Prakriti is inert. In another way we can understand that when you on your computer, when you're owning your computer, and through the internet there is infinite possibilities, isn't it? So many things you can do. Everything is there. Everything is there. But I, as per my profession, as per my liking, will be just accessing only a small part of it, isn't it? But after all, internet has infinite possibilities. And that internet at last, how it is activated, unless it is connected to the bias voltage, it cannot be activated, isn't it? So that is just something, it is like an inert material. That your internet and everything is just like the hard, the hard disk of your computer, the hardware of the computer is just like a dead log wood, unless it is activated by that bias voltage, isn't it? So the consciousness is like that bias voltage. It is activating the entire Prakriti, and we access only a part of it, as per our liking, as per our wants. So that way, as per your wants, you may get anything. You may get anything. Prakriti is infinite. That's why in Yoga Sutra very nicely it has been mentioned that all our endeavors doesn't result in positive result. What it does, it just removes the obstacle. It just removes the obstacle lying between me and that infinite potentiality of the Prakriti. It removes that, and then the nature inflows. It's very nice. In the 4th chapter it is there. And they give an example of a farmer. A farmer, how he brings water in his own land. There's a river flowing by the side of all the agricultural field, and there's a dam on the bank of the river. So the farmer will go and just make a hole in the dam, and the water just comes and fills. So that's called Yatha Kshetrikavat, just the way the farmer brings water. He did not have to put any effort to bring the water. He just removes the obstacle, the water flows in. Similarly, all our sadhanas are just like removing that obstacle, and the nature flows in. All these various devatas are nothing but just with your sadhana, you're removing the obstacle and the nature. There's a particular way. But why you are doing it? To get after all some worldly gains. Why? I thought with this I am going to get Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Parama Sukha Prapti. And that I find is still eluding. It's just an illusion. I am in a roller coaster. Always I am in chasing of that happiness. I don't get it. So that's why he's calling it is some wrong method. At last you will find that what you ultimately wanted, you don't get. But they are worshipping me and me alone. It is I who have provided the Prakriti with all its potentiality. So it is me. That's why Swamiji is also saying that each and every being is potentially divine. Infinite potentiality is within you. It's just like that nature. Whatever you want, you get. But unless that if you really want happiness, then the thing would have been much, much easier. All those intricate processes were not required. Just to have faith in me and be aware of me and to develop love for me, that would have been sufficient. So that Bhagavan will be coming in the next verses. So let's proceed to the 24th verse, what it is saying. That why it is the wrong way. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tattvena atah chyavanti te. That's tattvena. This is very important one. That I am the enjoyer and the only Lord of all sacrifices. Sarva yajnanam bhokta. I am the enjoyer. It is ultimately I who am the enjoyer, not you. And Prabhu. Prabhu means I am the one who is the Lord, means He is the doer, He is the enjoyer. Very interesting. That are we the doer, we are the enjoyer? No. We think we enjoy, nothing we enjoy in life. The plan of the nature is such, we are forced to do certain thing. We are forced thinking that it will give me happiness. Nature uses happiness as a tool to make us do something by which it is sustained. We are always in that, in that will. We can never get that ultimate happiness. Let us try to find the nature of happiness, that what gives us happiness ultimately. What gives us happiness? In our Vedanta, they say there are three Eshanas. What are they? Putraishana, Vittaishana, Yashaishana. These are the three Eshana. Only three. There's desire for progeny, desire for wealth, desire for name and fame. Now all these three Eshanas, very interesting. The moment it is fulfilled, I get extreme happiness. Okay. But does that happiness stay? No. Immediately it evaporates. If you find the nature of happiness, that suppose I am craving for some particular delicacy. The moment I have it, immediately there is tremendous that happiness. But does it stay there? No. And again it goes off, isn't it too? So why the nature has planned this way? That if after taking one sweet I am always ecstatic, I won't take food again. And then the next day, after in 2-3 days, you are going to die. So to sustain yourself, again you have to take food. So that's why you go to the peak and then again it falls. So the plan of the nature is such that it will never continue. So you get the when your desire is fulfilled, you get the happiness, and then again it evaporates. And not only that, we will find that if we always remembered this, what we remembered, that when I get happiness, it evaporates. It after all evaporates, then I won't try next time. Very interesting. You will find we always remember the climax. We forget the evaporation. If you ask anyone in your life that how was your school days? Oh, wonderful. Was it really wonderful? We had our struggles. You will find the past is always golden. Why? That all those, the nice moments, the good moments, they somehow all come together, filtering out all the struggles, tensions, everything. We forget all those things. Why does the mind plays that trick? That if we remember the struggle, that our pursuit for this constant chase for happiness, that won't be there. So we always will forgetting, we will find that we always remember this ecstasy, we forget the evaporation. And not only that, another very interesting thing is that we will find there is so much happiness in anticipation. But when you are in it, you find you're already feeling very bored. From the morning you planned today evening, we will have a party, nice party. So much of this excitement, and when the party have started, you already feel I'm tired, bored. It happens so many times that every year we find that our devotees say we will be in the month of December, we are going to India. And then after he have returned, for 2 weeks we find he's not here, he's not coming to the Vedanta center, and was probably I called. And then now this jet lag still continuing for another 2. It's a common thing, but we forget. That we always remember that all the good, every time I find you come from India, you have some sickness, disease, all the things, you just carry the viruses, the germs, everything, you get infected. But next year again you are ready. Because only the happiness, the things which made you happy, that's in your mind. You forget all those things. Again, we'll be going through the same routine. Why it happens? Now you will find that nature has devised. What the nature has done, to make us, that nature has to sustain itself. So unless we are pursuing for our putraishana, vittaishana, yashishana, the nature is cannot just continue. So to make us do, so it makes us what? It gives us happiness. The next moment it will be evaporated, otherwise we won't continue. And then the third thing, very interesting. It's actually in this modern psychology they are studying this thing. The third thing is, We forget the evaporation. We always remember the ecstasy. Our bad memories are filtered out. And the fourth is very interesting. We get more happiness from anticipation. Why? As long as you're anticipating, still you are motivated. I have to do it. Once you are doing it, nature's work has been done. Why should it give happiness? There's no need. So it is using us. It is using us to make us do the things which has to be done. So the big question is that are we the enjoyer? Even in modern psychology, they say we are not the enjoyer. We are neither the doer nor the enjoyer. So it's very interesting. Neither the doer. We think I am doing. Are you doing the things? You will say, yes, just now I have decided I'm doing it. There are so many interesting experiments in our modern psychology. One is that a very simple experiment was done, very interesting experiment, that you have to press a button either with you decide with which hand I will press, with my left hand or with my right hand. The moment you decide, you press it. And the time will be recorded in a screen at when you have pressed the button. So it has been done with innumerable, many such persons it has been done. And the question was, did you press the button the moment you decided? Well, yes. But when this experiment was done, their brain was kept in some scanning. And they found in average at least 7 seconds earlier they have already decided. The brain scan is saying the decision was taken at least minimum 7 seconds earlier. But if you ask, they say, no, it is I who have decided at this time. So they found it's a bit something spooky. They called it, and who is deciding? In the Kena Upanishad, that's the question they ask. Kene shitam preshitam. Who is actually deciding? The same question the science asks. And then they found through an experiment called split brain experiment, split brain. It's very interesting that some person, because of some psychological issues, the left and the right hemisphere will be separated in the brain. This will be separated. And they work normally. But then they found in some experiment that actually there is some incongruency in such person. What? That a person such a person was made to sit in a chair and in such a way that he cannot move his head. He's a person whose brain has been split for some reason, for surgical, from some complication. He has been split. He's actually a normal person. Now he has been made to sit in such a way he cannot move his head, but he can turn his eyes. Now some display has been kept on the left side in such a way that even if he turns his eyes, his right eye cannot see, only the left eye can see. And he sees something written, please get up from your seat and move. So he simply gets up and starts moving. The one who was conducting the experiment, he said, why are you moving? He asked. And immediately he said, oh, I'm feeling a bit thirsty. There is some water in the fridge. I want to have the water. Now this person was really, got very much puzzled. How come? And it is clearly visible that he has actually seen the display and then got up, but he's saying that he has made up a story. Now they find out very interesting thing, that in our brain there is a crisscross, that what you see with your left eye is registered in the right brain. What you see with your right eye is registered in the left brain. So there is a crisscross in our brain. So as there is a split, so what he saw with his left eye was registered in the right brain. Now the right brain is autobiographical. It means what it sees, it registers. And the left is the language brain. But as there is a split, nothing was transmitted from the right to the left. As per the right brain's instruction, it got up. Seeing that it got up, it started moving, but there was nothing transmitted to the left brain. So now when he's asked that what you are doing, so no one wants to prove himself that I am doing something which has no reason. He will say I'm a mad fellow. So immediately the language brain creates a language. And it makes the other person believe, not only the other person, even this person also believe. Or now you will understand why the fanatics are so sincere. It makes them believe. They believe that no, what I believe is correct. It makes them believe. And this, now they are saying in psychology, this split, here it is surgical, but for most of us, our biases create that split. That when the football match is going on, my team, the love for my team creates a tremendous bias, and that creates that split. So when there is a fight, when the football match is going on, you will find the supporters of both the team will say, our team was right. In politics, everywhere you will find the same thing happens. That no one says I was wrong. There is never fight in this world between right and wrong. It is the fight of perspectives, isn't it? All say I am right. Even if you ask Ravana, are you right? He will say right. He was right. He will never say I was wrong. We are saying he is wrong. No one says I was wrong. You go to the jail and ask a serial killer, a hardcore criminal, were you ever wrong? So you will find they never say. There was a society was at fault. My upbringing was faulty. No one will say I was wrong. So this is the bias which is created, and that actually makes us do certain things. That's why there is a book, very nice book, based on this experiment. The name of the book is Why Everyone Else is a Hypocrite. I am the only correct person in the world. Everyone else is a hypocrite. And that's what goes on in your so-called, PNPC. Paraninda Paracharcha. That what goes on. Because I am the holiest person. Everyone else is a hypocrite, isn't it? That's what goes on. Because of that split which we are creating. Now, why it happens again? This is very interesting. We need not go to the details. Just one thing, that in the process of evolution, we have created many mental modules, they say. That there is not a single mind. There are many minds. Say, today I go and test the last class we were saying that in the, that our, this Bhakti Yoga class, we were indicating that. I just go and have a donut. I like it. Immediately a stimuli response module is created. That this thing creates attraction. It's there stored in my mind. There are such innumerable mental modules in my mind. In a particular situation, but only one module will get activated. Now, which module will get activated? Who is there to decide? No one is there to decide. Very interesting. Then among innumerable mental modules, in whatever circumstance you are, that circumstance, the favorable circumstance, that decides. Based on that favorable circumstance, a particular module will get activated. See, now here you are sitting here listening to this spiritual some discourse and all. You are having a total different mindset. You just go out and suddenly you find your school friend. Immediately you will find your behavior pattern has changed. You are behaving in a total different way. What has happened? The external environment immediately activates a particular module and immediately accordingly start behaving. I still remember that after 40 years, suddenly from someone of my school could contact me and said, we have this alumni, and occasionally we meet through this WhatsApp or some Zoom. They all want to see you. Would you like to join? And that was the first and last. The moment I entered, I found where I have entered. So they have actually they all have 50 plus age. That's the time, quite few years back. So they have all crossed 50, but they were all behaving as if they're in the school. Just as if the same way they are behaving. The moment that environment changes, you will find your mental model has changed. The same person, when he goes to the next room, most probably will be meeting his own son or wife. Again he changes, immediately he will change. But in this room, he has just kept the screen open, and you will find he's totally different person. So as per our circumstances, a mental model activates. It has a fixed stimuli response conditioning. And you are bound to behave that way, but your mind makes you feel, I have decided. There's samskaras. I'm saying that samskaras only are the language is samskara. You just think these samskaras as the modules. Samskaras are the modules. That what samskara that gets converted into vasana. These vasanas and samskaras, these are the modules. So many modules. As you have asked that question, I will just relate a very nice experiment. It is a nice experiment that a group of students, the students of psychology, they were actually taken for some excursion. It was planned, and then for the excursion, they were many of them were married. They had families, so they told that you can bring your family along with you. And the excursion was planned in such a way that they have to go to certain destination, but they will reach the destination next day. The day they have started, in the evening they will get down in some village town, and there are some restaurants, a few restaurants in the heart of the small town, and others will have to go to a bit remote place. Now those who were conducting the experiment, they thought, let them decide. We need not ask them that you stay here or you stay there. there will be grudge, grievance. Let us try to make the situation such that they themselves will decide. Then what they did, they took them to some some movie theater. There's theater village, where 2-3 halls were there, 2-3 different movies were going on, and they told that they could just go for some movie as per their wish. So some went to one movie, so some went to the second movie. So one was a horror movie, the other was some family adventure movie. So after the movie, when they came out, now the question of going to the hotel. So they were asked, where you want to stay? In the heart of the city, there's so many rooms are there, and others will have to go to some remote area. Very interesting. Those who went for the horror movie, they all selected that the hub of the town, city. And those who went for the family adventure movie, they themselves selected bit outskirt. Why? When you are in the horror movie, then your protection module gets activated. You know that if you just see in the forest, when the predator is attacking, you will find the herds are always together. They never run separately, because they know if I get separated from the herd, the entire attention will be on me. The entire focus will be on me. There is no chance I can escape. But if I am the herd, I may escape, because I am not after all been focused. So whenever we are in protection mode, we always try to be together. And when you are with your family, what do you want? To be just, yes, I want my own space with my own children, with my own family. So then you want to be a bit isolated. So those who went for this family-based movie, they all themselves chose this was a remote place. And those who went for the horror movie, they all chose something which is in the center. So nothing was decided. So why we are just saying that particular module gets activated. And in psychology, they are saying in the modern days that actually it's very difficult to say any decision we are taking consciously. It's all the mental modules which decides. It is deciding, and accordingly we are taking all those decisions. So now here when he says, I am the one who is the bhokta and the karta, there's a Prabhu. The Prabhu, who can be the Prabhu? The one who is the doer. So Lord is saying it is I. It is because of His plan of the creation. It is He. We somehow, because of ignorance, think ourselves to be the bhokta and the karta. We are not that. So ahang hi sarva yajnanam, that whatever is going on, this yajna, this word yajna means give and take. This world of interdependence, everything is planned by me, is happening as per my plan. You may think you are doing. No, it is I who am doing. It is I who am enjoying. So, natu mam abhijananti tattvena atah chyavanti te. And thinking ourselves to be the doer and enjoyer. In our pursuit, what happens? We fall from the tattva. Tattva means the real truth. There are two words in Sanskrit, tattva and mata. Mata means opinion. Tattva means the real truth. What is the real truth? That the Lord alone is the karta and the bhokta. If we knew that, then as Bhagavan is instructing almost in the end of Gita to Arjuna, nimitta matra bhava sabdya sachin, become just an instrument in the hand of the divine. That do everything, but know it is the Lord who is working through you. Then what happens? The question of karta doesn't come. That why we suffer. The mother sacrifices her entire life for the child. When the child grows and the mother feels that the minimum, this love, respect which I am supposed to get, even a sweet language, maybe I expect nothing. At least I expect a sweet, he or she should talk to me nicely. How rudely he talks, and I suffer. What has happened? That the sense of karta has come. It is I who have showered this motherly love, taken care. If I would have really known the fact, what's the fact? It's the Lord who has implanted that love in my heart. I was helpless. Even if I wanted, I could have done nothing else. I was bound to do what I have done. The Lord has implanted that in my heart. And I was just the nimitta, just an instrument. All the faculties which I have, Lord has given me to take care of His creation. I have done my best, and there it ends. then the question of expectation won't come. And then what? You know the tattva, you know that reality. Otherwise, the moment you think you are the Prabhu, you are the Bhukta, all the suffering comes from there. So that's why this Lord is saying that tattvena chyavanti. Chyavanti means to fall. So we fall from the truth because we don't see the real picture behind everything. In our pursuit for all the so-called our ambitions in life. So this is the very thing that we shouldn't, it doesn't mean that we should sit idle. The plan of the universe is such that we have to be engaged in this. But keep the orientation proper. That after all, with all my faculties, neither seek nor avoid. Swamiji used to say again and again. Don't seek nor avoid. The life has kept me in certain situation. I am not seeking constantly. But at the same time not avoiding. I take care of all those things, knowing well I am just the nimitta, an instrument in the hand of the divine. Then what happens? Then the life flows, it goes on. Things goes on, but the reaction, that's removed. You don't react to the situation happenings of life. I have no control over the happenings of life, but I do have control over how I react. We can just, we'll be ending with this verse today, but very interesting that instead of going to the literal meaning, we are trying to find out that real significance of these verses. The literal meaning is, there are so many other devatas, God alone is manifesting through them. And if you ask you pray to them, they will of course offer you what you want, but you don't get me. So if you translate that way, then what happens? That ultimately you may say, yes, well, I don't want you. I want all these lesser gods. But if you just go to the real meaning, then you will find if you don't find that the Lord himself, then the ultimate goal for which you are just endeavoring so much, that I want this, why? For that, ultimately to get the fulfillment in life, happiness in life, that won't come. You will get everything. As very nice, our Gambhirananda ji, he was the 11th president of our order. So when he was an assistant secretary in Belur Math, in those days, the Belur Math's condition was not good, financial condition. It was quite struggling. They were all struggling in those days. This resource was very, there's minimum. Bare resource, with bare resource, this organization was running. And now, Gambhirananda ji as an assistant secretary, he looked to be quite strict person, but it is to whom all has to go for even small things. Because the sadhus also have to have some such as soap, brush, or some dhoti. For everything, they have to go to him because he is the one who maintains the store. So out of lot of fear, they will go and ask, Maharaj, I want something. And very seriously, will ask, what do you want? I say, I wanted just a toothpaste. And he of course will get, but before that his reply was wonderful. He will just seriously say, there is nothing, that in those days condition was very poor, but what his reply was wonderful. He used to, there is nothing in Belur Math which you don't get if you ask for. There is nothing in Belur Math you don't get which you ask for. The meaning is, you ask for toothpaste, you don't ask for Guru Maharaj. so you get toothpaste, but you won't get Thakur. So there is nothing in Belur Math which you don't get if you ask for. So that's a wonderful thing. So here also that's the thing, that what you ask for, you get. But we don't ask for. We don't ask for the real thing. And if you ask for that real thing, it's very easy. It need not have to go through this hard procedure. That will be spoken of in the next verse. Just what's needed is devotion. And to evoke that devotion, you may take help of some small accessories. Those accessories are secondary, like patram, pushpam, phalam, toyang. This will come in the next verse. They are accessory. They are not important. What is important is bhakti. This bhaktya, with that word bhaktya will come, with devotion. So those things just help. Just the way the national flag helps to evoke the idea of patriotism. Similarly, these things help. Nothing more. Just with a real incident in the life of Swami Vivekananda, I will just end today's discussion. When Swami Vivekananda, before going to the West, he was in Chennai as a wandering monk. And then repeatedly he started having the at night he was being disturbed by some departed spirit, that I am suffering, please deliver me. That the proper rite was not done. He died in some accident and proper rite was not done. So he said I was suffering. 3-4 days that he came into Swamiji's this dreams. He said that I'm extremely disturbed. And Swamiji thought, let me just do some rites for him. Now he's a wandering monk. He has no resources. What he did, he went to the sea beach, took some sand, and as if he's offering, that's just the way when you offer to the forefathers, you will be offering all this rice and other things. But what he did, as he was a wandering monk, he just took the sand and just offered it into the ocean, thinking that he's offering to the departed soul. And from the next day, that all this disturbance stopped, that he started as disturbing Swami Vivekananda. So what's the idea? This, whether it is rice or sand, that's not the thing. I need something to evoke that particular emotion. Oh, I am offering you something, that you're trying to relate your prayers through that. So that's the thing which actually is being communicated, not the thing. Don't think that the departed soul is coming to take the rice. No. But when you are giving, the feeling which you are having, with that only they relate. So that's the very idea. So what patra, pushpa, phala, toya, what you are giving, that's not important. The bhakti, the devotion with which you are giving, that's the thing with which the divine relates. So that will be spoken of. It's very simple. You need not have to go through all this paraphernalia of all those by developing skills to get something in life. All those things are okay. They have their place in life. But to be always to be in association with the divine, you need just to relate through devotion in your life, practicing the constant awareness of the presence of the divine in your life, that he is always with me, he is my only resource. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, as long as you have the family responsibilities, with one hand you conduct all your family duties, with the other hand hold on to the Lord. And when your responsibilities are over, with both the hands hold on to the Lord. As simple as that. So that's the thing which this Bhagavan Krishna will be relating, how to hold on to him through bhakti. And that's very simple. That doesn't need all those intricacies. That he will be speaking of in the 25th verse, which we will again take up in the next class. So with this, we stop our discussion today. Thank you all. Namaskar.